Remember what it's like to be in their presence. And as you think of them, something is happening in the quantum field. Your consciousness is beginning to entangle with theirs. Distance is irrelevant. They could be in the next room or on the other side of the planet. In the quantum field, everything is here now. The reason it happens so easily in dreams is because your conscious mind isn't there to interfere. Your analytical mind, with all its skepticism and need for proof, is offline, so the psychic information can flow freely. Welcome to the Reality Revolution. Today, we're activating your psychic power. Something extraordinary is happening right now. In this moment, as you're listening to these words, the electromagnetic field of the Earth is oscillating at frequencies it hasn't touched in thousands of years. The Schumann resonance, that subtle pulse of the planet's consciousness, is spiking in ways that would have been considered impossible just a decade ago. Scientists are baffled, but those of us who understand the quantum field know exactly what's occurring. The veil is thinning. And when I say the veil is thinning, I'm talking about the membrane between what you think of as normal reality and the vast ocean of information that surrounds you at every moment. The ocean has always been there. The psychic realm, the akashic field, the quantum information matrix. Call it whatever resonates with you. It's always been broadcasting. The question is, have you been tuned to the right frequency to receive it? For most of human history, only a select few could access these frequencies. The mystics, the shamans, the seers, people like Robert Ferguson, who I read on the episode on psychic telemetry, back when the world wasn't ready to hear it. Or Anthony Norvell, who understood that your third eye isn't just some mystical concept, it's an actual pineal gland broadcasting and receiving information beyond the 5 physical senses. Here's what they couldn't have known back then: that there would come a time, this time right now, when the planetary frequency would shift so dramatically that what was once available only to the initiated would become accessible to anyone willing to tune in, and that time is now. You didn't stumble upon this activation by accident. There's no such thing as coincidence when you're dealing with the quantum field. You're here because some part of you, the part that exists beyond the limitations of your thinking mind, knows that you're ready to activate capabilities that have been dormant within you. Not to learn them, to remember them. You've always been psychic. You've always had access to information beyond what your physical eyes can see and your physical ears can hear. You've had moments, I know you have, where you thought of someone right before they called, where you knew something was going to happen before it did, where you walked into a room and could feel the energy of what had occurred there, even though no one told you anything. Those weren't coincidences. Those were leaks in the dam you've built around your natural psychic abilities. And today, we're not just going to create more leaks, we're going to open the floodgates. Before we activate your psychic power, and notice I didn't say give you psychic power because I can't give you what you already have. Let me share something that will fundamentally shift how you understand this entire process. Your brain is not a closed system. Modern neuroscience wants you to believe that consciousness is produced by the brain, that thoughts are just electrical signals bouncing around in your skull, that you are fundamentally isolated from everyone and everything around you. But that's not what the cutting edge of quantum biology is discovering. That's not what the mystics have known for millennia. And that's definitely not what every person who has ever had a genuine psychic experience knows to be true. Your brain is more like a radio receiver than a computer. It's tuning into information that exists in the field. And just like a radio, you want to pick up different stations, you need to adjust your frequency. The psychics, the mediums, the remote viewers, the precognitive dreamers, they're not special in the sense of having something that you don't have. They have just learned, whether consciously or unconsciously, to adjust their receiver, to quiet the static of constant mental chatter, to tune into frequencies that most people have forgotten how to access. And that's exactly what we're doing together right now. Let me explain what's actually happening when you access psychic information. Because understanding the mechanism makes the activation exponentially more powerful. Everything in the universe is energy vibrating at different frequencies. Your thoughts are energy. Your emotions are energy. The past, the present, and all possible futures exist simultaneously in the quantum field, or what mystics call the akashic field. Different types of psychic abilities are really just different frequencies you're tuning into. Telepathy, you're quantum entangling with the consciousness field of another person. Their thoughts exist as electromagnetic patterns, and when you quiet your own mental noise, you can pick up on those patterns. It's like, imagine you're in a crowded room where everyone is talking and you're trying to have a conversation. It's difficult. But if you stop talking and truly listen, you can hear what the other person is saying clearly. Telepathy works the same way. Stop broadcasting so much mental noise and you'll start receiving what others are thinking. Precognition is where it gets really interesting. All possible futures already exist in the quantum field as probability waves. When you access precognitive information, you're not seeing the future, you're seeing a future, the one with the highest probability of manifesting based on current trajectories. Here's where it gets even more interesting. Sometimes the act of seeing the future changes it, because you're now a new variable in the equation. Then there's clairvoyance, the ability to see things at a distance, to see things that are hidden, to see beyond the physical, to find what is hidden. This is your consciousness extending beyond the limitations of your physical location. In the quantum field, there is no distance. Everything is here and now. When you develop clairvoyance, you're training your consciousness to access visual information from the field rather than relying solely on the photons hitting your retinas. Clairaudience, the same principle as clairvoyance, but with sound. You're accessing auditory information from the field. Sometimes this comes as actual voices, sometimes as tones, sometimes as music. The psychics who hear messages from spirit guides aren't hallucinating. They're translating quantum information into auditory data. Then there's clairsentience, feeling information. It's sensing the energy of people, places, and situations. This is often the first psychic ability people develop because it's the subtlest, the most easily dismissed as just intuition. But there's no just about it. Your ability to walk into a room and feel that something's off, that's clairsentience. Your ability to meet someone and immediately feel their trustworthiness or lack thereof, clairsentience. Then there's psychometry, something that I have developed that I find amazing. Reading the energy of objects. Everything holds a frequency signature. When you touch something, you can tune into its history, the people who have handled it, the events it has witnessed. Tom Lyle called this pragma psychics. In my episode where I read a chapter from that book, he discussed the practical applications of psychic power, and it's more accessible than you might think. Now, I want you to know that as I'm speaking these words to you, I'm not just conveying information. Every sentence, every phrase, every word is calibrated to a specific frequency designed to activate dormant circuitry in your consciousness. You don't need to do anything special. You don't need to close your eyes, though you can if you want to. You don't need to breathe in a particular way. You just need to listen. Because something interesting happens when you really listen. Not when you're thinking about what you're hearing. Not when you're analyzing or judging or comparing to what you've already believed. But when you simply allow the information to land in your awareness without resistance. When you listen like that, you enter a state of consciousness that is naturally more receptive, more open, more psychic. And you might notice, as I'm saying this, that there's already a subtle shift happening in your awareness. Maybe you're noticing sounds you hadn't noticed before. Maybe you're aware of the space around you in a different way. Maybe there's a tingling sensation somewhere in your body or a feeling of expansion, or just a gentle sense that something is shifting. Whatever you're experiencing is perfect, because your psychic abilities don't activate in some dramatic lightning bolt from the sky way, though sometimes they can. Usually, it's much more subtle than that. It's a gentle opening, a quiet remembering, a soft click as something that was misaligned suddenly falls into place. The first thing we need to do is clear the interference patterns that have been blocking your natural psychic receptivity. Because you were born psychic. Every child is. But then something happened. You were taught that imagination isn't real, that invisible friends aren't actual friends, that the things you knew without knowing how you knew them weren't valid sources of information, that you should only trust what you can see with your physical eyes and prove with your physical senses. And so layer by layer, you built up interference patterns, doubts, skepticism, the need for proof, the fear of being wrong, the fear of being weird, the fear of being different. These interference patterns are like static on a radio. They're not blocking the signal. The signal is always there. They're just making it harder to hear clearly. So right now, I want you to give yourself permission to temporarily release all of that. Just for the duration of this activation. You can pick it all back up afterwards if you want to, though I suspect you won't want to. Give yourself permission to be wrong. Give yourself permission to imagine. Give yourself permission to sense things that might not be real in the conventional sense. Give yourself permission to be open to information that comes in ways that can't be immediately verified. Because here is a secret that the greatest psychics throughout history have known. The biggest block to psychic development is not lack of ability. It's the need to be right. When you release that need, when you allow yourself to be in the space of, I don't know for sure, but I'm sensing something, that is when the real information starts flowing. You want to remove as much of your own preconceptions as you can when activating your psychic power. The more you bring yourself into it, the less your power is available to you. As you give yourself that permission, you might notice something shifting in your energy field. Maybe it feels like a release. Maybe it feels like an expansion. Maybe it feels like you can breathe a little deeper. Now I want to bring your awareness to the center of your brain. Not to the front where all the thinking happens, but deeper to the pineal gland. That tiny pine cone shaped gland that every ancient tradition recognized as the seat of psychic vision. The Egyptians knew about it. They called it the Eye of Horus. The Hindus knew about it. They called it the Ajna Chakra. The mystics knew about it. They called it the third eye. Even René Descartes, the father of modern philosophy, called it the principal seat of the soul. And modern science is finally catching up. They're discovering that the pineal gland doesn't just regulate your sleep-wake cycles. It contains actual light-receptive cells similar to those in your retina. It produces DMT, the same molecule that creates visionary experiences. It is literally designed to perceive beyond the physical. But in most people, this gland has calcified, not completely, but enough that its functionality is diminished. Fluoride in the water, electromagnetic pollution, lack of sunlight, constant stimulation of the frontal cortex. All of these things contribute to shutting down your natural psychic receptor. But the beautiful thing is consciousness is senior to matter, which means that by bringing your awareness to your pineal gland, no matter how much calcified it is, by imagining it awakening and activating, you are beginning to reverse that calcification. You're sending blood flow, energy, intention to this gland, and it responds. So bring your awareness there now, to the very center of your head, just behind and slightly above the space between your eyebrows. And imagine. And remember, imagination is not less real than physical reality. It's just a different frequency of reality. Imagine a tiny pine cone there, or a crystalline structure, or just a point of light. Whatever image comes to you is perfect. And now imagine that this structure is beginning to activate. Maybe you see it glowing with light. Maybe you feel a slight pressure or tingling sensation. Maybe you sense a kind of whirring or vibration. That's something that's been asleep is starting to wake up. This is your psychic antenna, your quantum receiver, and it's coming back online. You might notice colors behind your closed eyelids, if you close them, purples, indigos, blues. These are the colors of the third eye chakra, and they indicate activation. Or you might not see colors at all. You might just have a sense of something happening, or subtle machinery clicking into gear. Trust whatever you experience, because the activation is happening on levels far deeper than what your conscious mind can track. Your psychic abilities don't just reside in your pineal gland, they operate through your entire energy field. So now we're going to expand that field, because a larger, more coherent energy field can receive and process more information from the quantum realm. Right now, your energy field, what some people call your aura, extends maybe a few feet around your physical body. For most people, it's actually quite small. When I've developed the ability to see it, I see people maybe with 3 or 4 inches of aura, quite close to the body, because all the stress and contraction and protective mechanisms you develop as you move through the world. But a psychic's energy field is much larger. It extends out meters, sometimes kilometers, depending on their level of development. This is about functionality. A larger, more expansive field can interface with more information in the environment. So we're going to expand your field now. Imagine that your body's like a sun, radiating energy in all directions. This isn't difficult to imagine because it's true. Your body is constantly emitting electromagnetic radiation, photons, heat, and more subtle forms of energy that science hasn't quite figured out how to measure yet. And now imagine that energy expanding gently, naturally, like ripples moving out from a stone dropped in still water. Your energy field expanding out beyond your body, 1 foot, 2 foot, 3 feet, filling the space around you. And as it expands, it becomes more sensitive, more receptive. Like a microphone picking up sounds, your energy field is now picking up information. Information about the space you're in. Information about the people near you. Information about events that have occurred and events that might occur. Keep allowing it to expand 6 feet, 10 feet. Now filling the entire room you're in. Your awareness isn't just in your body anymore, it's dispersed throughout the space. You can feel the walls. You can sense the quality of the air. You can perceive in 360 degrees, not just through the narrow channel of your forward-facing eyes. This is the beginning of remote viewing, the ability to perceive at a distance. Because once you learn to expand your field like this, you can expand it anywhere. To other rooms, other buildings, other cities, other times. But for now, just rest in this expanded state. Notice how much information is actually available to you when you stop limiting your awareness to just the data coming in through your 5 physical senses. Now we're going to activate your telepathic abilities by learning to quantum entangle with other consciousnesses. Just think of somebody you know well, someone you care about. Just bring them to mind. Picture their face, feel their energy. Maybe you can remember how they smell. Remember what it's like to be in their presence. And as you think of them, something is happening in the quantum field. Your consciousness is beginning to entangle with theirs. Distance is irrelevant. They could be in the next room or on the other side of the planet. In the quantum field, everything is here now. And now, instead of just thinking about them, I want you to imagine that you can feel what they're feeling. Not in some vague theoretical way, but actually feel it in your body. If they're relaxed, you might feel relaxation. If they're stressed, you might feel tension. If they're happy, you might feel their lightness. This might seem like you just making it up. That's fine, because making it up and receiving psychic information feel almost identical at first. The only difference is that psychic information has accuracy when you check it later. But the feeling, the mechanism is the same. So allow yourself to make up what they're feeling. And notice, does it seem like they're feeling primarily in their heart, their head, their gut? Just notice what comes to you. And now go deeper. What are they thinking about right now? Again, you might think you're making it up. That's fine. Just allow an answer to arise. What's on their mind? What are they focused on? What's concerning them or exciting them? And notice if you get words or images, or just a sense of knowing. Everyone receives psychic information slightly differently. Some people are visual. They see images or symbols. Some people are auditory. They hear words or sounds. Some people are kinesthetic. They just know, they feel it in their body. And some people feel all of that. There's no right way to be a psychic. There's only your way. You're discovering your way right now. Now here's something interesting. Send them a thought. Just a simple thought. Maybe, I'm thinking about you. Or I hope you're having a great day. Just project that thought toward them with the intention that they'll receive it. And then sometime in the next day or two, reach out to them. Don't tell them about this. Just have a normal conversation and see if they mention anything that correlates with what you sensed. You might be surprised at the accuracy. Now we're going to go deeper into the quantum information field, or the akashic records. The akashic records are not some mystical library in the sky, though that's a useful metaphor. They're more like a quantum database that contains information about all events, past, present, and future, or more accurately, all probable futures. Because the future is not fixed, it's a field of possibilities, and which possibility manifests depends on the choices and consciousness of all involved. When you access the akashic records to see future possibilities, you're not seeing fate, you're seeing trajectory. Where is the current momentum heading? And once you see that, you have the power to change it if you don't like where it's going. So let's access this field together. Imagine that you're rising up out of your physical body, not leaving it. You're always safe, always tethered, but just expanding your awareness upward, rising up through the ceiling, through the roof, into the sky, higher and higher until you reach what feels like an ocean of golden light. This golden light is pure consciousness, pure information, the mind of the universe itself, and you can swim through it like water. Now I want you to set an intention. What do you want to know? Maybe it's about your career, your relationships, your health, your purpose. Just pick anything, one area, and set the intention. Show me the most relevant information about this area of my life for my highest good. And now just wait. Don't force anything. Don't try to see something. Just remain open and receptive in this ocean of light and notice what comes. You might get an image, a symbol, a scene playing out like a movie. You might hear words. You might just get a feeling or a sense of knowing. You might see colors or geometric patterns that your conscious mind doesn't immediately understand, but your subconscious does. Whatever comes, just observe it without judgment. Don't analyze it yet. Just receive it. And if nothing comes, that's fine too. Sometimes the psychic information arrives later in dreams or in sudden insights when you're doing something completely unrelated. You've sent out the request to the field, and the field always answers, sometimes just not on your conscious mind's timeline. Now let's specifically activate your clairvoyant abilities, your ability to see beyond the physical. I want you to imagine that you have a screen in your mind, like a movie screen or a TV screen, or just a blank space where images can occur. This is your psychic viewing screen, and it's located in the space of your third eye. Now, just for practice, I want you to imagine a simple object appearing on the screen, say, a red apple. Just see if you can visualize a red apple on your mental screen. You got it? Good. That's the same mechanism you use for clairvoyant sight. The only difference is that with clairvoyance, you're not generating the image from memory. You're allowing the image to come to you from the quantum field. So now clear your screen and ask to see something that will be helpful for you to see. Maybe it's a situation you're currently dealing with. Maybe it's guidance about a decision you need to make. Maybe it's just whatever wants to show itself. And then wait. Keep your mental screen clear and receptive. See what appears. You might see something immediately, or it might take a few seconds or a few minutes. There's no rush. Just remain in the state of receptive openness. Whatever appears, even if it seems random or nonsensical, pay attention to it. Your subconscious speaks in symbols. A rose might represent love, or beauty, or thorns, obstacles. Water might represent emotions or flow or cleansing. A door might represent new opportunities or transitions. The more you practice this, the more fluent you'll become in the symbolic language of your psychic sight. And over time, the image will become clearer, more detailed, and more specific. Now let's activate your clairaudient abilities, your ability to hear beyond the physical. Bring your awareness to your ears, not just the physical ears, but the subtle energy centers around and slightly above your physical ears. These are your psychic auditory receptors. And now just listen, but not to external sounds. Listen to the internal space, the space inside your head, the space of consciousness itself. At first you might hear nothing, just silence. But as you listen more deeply, you might start to notice subtle sounds, maybe a high-pitched ringing or tone. This is actually quite common. It's the sound of your nervous system, or some would say the sound of the quantum field itself. Or you might hear words. Sometimes they sound like your own thoughts, just somehow different, more clear, more definite, coming from a place that doesn't feel like your usual thinking mind. These are psychic impressions. Some people call these messages from spirit guides or higher self or angels. The label doesn't really matter. What matters is that information is coming through an auditory channel. So right now, just ask a question out loud or in your mind, something you'd like guidance on, and then listen. The answer might come immediately, or it might come later when you're not trying so hard. But you've opened the channel, and once opened, it stays open. Information will start flowing through. Your ability to feel energy, to sense things beyond the 5 physical senses, this is called clairsentience. And it's probably the psychic ability you already use the most, even if you don't recognize it as psychic. Every time you walk into a room and feel the vibe, every time you meet someone and get a good feeling or a bad feeling about them, every time you can feel that someone is lying, even though their words sound true, that's all clairsentience. Let's develop this ability more consciously right now. Bring your awareness to your solar plexus, that area at the base of your rib cage above your stomach. This is your gut, and there's a reason we talk about gut feelings. This area is packed with neurons. It's actually called the enteric nervous system, and is sometimes referred to as the second brain. But beyond the physical neurons, there's an energy center here, the solar plexus chakra. It's incredibly sensitive to energy, truth, to danger and opportunity. So right now, bring your awareness to this area. And imagine that it's like a radar dish scanning the environment for information. Not thinking about the information, just feeling it. I want you to think of a decision you need to make. Something where you have 2 or more options. And just hold the first option in your awareness. Don't think about it, just feel it. Notice what happens in your solar plexus. Does it expand, contract, feel warm, cold, heavy, light? Just notice. And now clear that and bring up the second option. Same thing, just feel it. Notice the sensations. Your body knows. Your energy field knows. You might not consciously know which option is best, but this deeper aspect of you does, and it communicates through sensation and feeling. The more you practice listening to these subtle signals, the more accurate your clairsentience becomes. You become like a human lie detector. You can walk into situations and immediately know if they're aligned for you or not. Now let's activate your ability to read the energy of objects, psychometry. Every object holds an energy signature. It holds the frequency of the people who have owned it, used it, created it. It holds the energy of the places it's been, the events it has witnessed. If you happen to have an object nearby, a piece of jewelry, a book, a photograph, anything, pick it up now. If not, you can do this later, but if you have something, hold it in your hands. And now close your eyes, if you haven't already, and just feel the object, not the physical texture, though you'll notice that too. Feel the energy of it. What impressions come? You might get images, you might get feelings, you might just get a sense of knowing. Maybe you sense who owned it before, what they were like, how they felt. Don't force it. Don't try to make something happen. Just remain open and receptive. Allow the information to flow to you. This ability is incredibly useful. You can use it to check if a place has good energy before you move there. You can use it to sense if a business deal is solid or sketchy. You can use it to understand people by holding something that belongs to them. Be sure to check out the episode where I read from Tom Lyle, who built an entire system around this, Pragma Psychics, the practical use of psychic power for real-world activities. And it all starts with developing your sensitivity to the energetic information that objects carry. One of the most accessible forms of psychic ability is precognitive dreaming, receiving information about future events through your dreams. You're probably already doing this. Have you ever had a dream and then a few days or weeks later that exact scenario played out in waking life? That's precognition. The reason it happens so easily in dreams is because your conscious mind isn't there to interfere. Your analytical mind, with all its skepticism and need for proof, is offline, so the psychic information can flow freely. So let's set up a protocol for tonight or whenever you next sleep. Before you go to bed, set a clear intention. Tonight, I will receive clear, accurate psychic information in my dreams. I will remember my dreams when I wake up. The information will be useful and relevant to my life. Say this to yourself or write it down. Maybe say it 3 times for emphasis. And then keep a notebook and pen next to your bed. Or use your phone, because when you wake up, and this might be in the middle of the night or first thing in the morning, immediately write down whatever you remember from your dreams. Don't wait. Don't think you'll remember later. You won't. Dreams fade fast. Write down everything, even if it seems nonsensical or unimportant, because sometimes the most mundane dream detail is actually the most precognitive. And then over the days and weeks ahead, watch your life. Watch for synchronicities. Watch for events that echo your dreams. You might be amazed at how accurate your precognitive dreaming becomes once you start paying attention to it. Now, before we finish this, I need to address something important: psychic protection. When you open up psychically, you become more sensitive to energy, and not all energy is positive or useful. You can pick up on other people's emotions, their thoughts and anxieties. You can walk into spaces that hold heavy or negative energy and feel weighed down. This is why psychic protection is essential. The simplest form of protection is intention. Simply stating out loud or in your mind, say this with me: I am only open to information and energy that serves my highest good. All other energy is returned to its source, transmuted in love. You can also visualize a sphere of white or golden light surrounding you. Remember, consciousness affects energy. When you visualize protection, you're creating an energetic boundary that filters what can and cannot enter your field. Check out my interview with Shar Margolis, who talks about this in her work on developing psychic abilities. She emphasizes that you're always in control. You can turn your psychic abilities on or off. You can set boundaries around when and how you receive information. Because being psychic doesn't mean being bombarded with information 24/7. That would be exhausting. It means being able to access information when you want to, and to have healthy boundaries the rest of the time. So imagine that sphere of light around you. See it as a filter that only allows through what is beneficial, what is true and aligned with your highest good. And know that you can reinforce this protection anytime you want. Before you go into a crowded place, before you do a psychic reading, before you go to sleep, just visualize the sphere, state your intention, and you're protected. What we've done in this activation is jumpstart dormant circuitry. We've cleared interference patterns. We've expanded your energy field. We've activated your pineal gland, your psychic receptors, your intuitive knowing. But like any ability, psychic power develops through practice. Every day, practice something. Maybe it's expanding your field when you wake up. Maybe it's doing a quick reading on what kind of day you're going to have. Maybe it's practicing telepathy with a friend. Maybe it's journaling your dreams. The key is consistency. Even 5 minutes a day will develop your abilities exponentially. You will make mistakes. You will sometimes be wrong. That's part of this process. It does not mean it's not working. The greatest psychics in history were not 100% accurate. Even the best remote viewers in the military programs were right 70% of the time. But that's still incredibly useful information, and as you practice, your accuracy will increase. Trust your first impression. Psychic information usually comes fast and subtle. It's the first thought, first feeling, the first image that pops into your awareness before your logical mind has time to analyze it. The more you think about it, the more you contaminate it with your own thoughts and expectations. So practice catching that first impression. That's usually the pure psychic hit. There's a reason psychic abilities are activating across the planet right now. It's not random. It's not because people are suddenly more interested in woo-woo spirituality. It's because we're evolving. Humanity is undergoing a consciousness shift. And part of that shift is the activation of these abilities that were always latent within us, but have been dormant for generations. We're becoming the new human, the telepathic human, the intuitive human, the multidimensional human who can perceive across time and space, who can access information from the quantum field, who can consciously create reality rather than just react to it. And you're part of this shift. You're not just developing psychic abilities for yourself. You're part of the wave of consciousness that's uplifting the entire species. Because when you develop your psychic abilities, you become more compassionate. You feel what others are feeling. You become more aware. You see beyond the surface of things. You become more connected. You realize that separation is an illusion and we're all part of one vast, interconnected consciousness. This is the real purpose of psychic development, not just to see the future or read minds, though these are all useful skills, but to evolve, to become more fully human, or maybe I should say more fully divine, because the line between human and divine blurs when you activate these abilities. I want you to take a moment to integrate everything that's happened. You might notice that you feel different, more open, more aware, more sensitive to the subtle energies around you, or you might not notice any dramatic change yet. That's fine too. The activation is happening at deep levels, and sometimes the effects don't become apparent until days or weeks later. But know this, you are now on the path of psychic development. You've activated systems within your consciousness that cannot be deactivated. You can't unknow what you know. You can't unawaken what has been awakened. And over the coming days, weeks, and months, you're going to notice things, synchronicities, intuitive hits, dreams, growing sense of connection. Pay attention to these signs, follow them. Let them guide you deeper into the mystery of who and what you really are. Because you're not just a physical body moving through time and space. You're a vast multidimensional consciousness experiencing itself through this particular focal point. And now you're beginning to remember that, to access the full range of your perceptual abilities. This is your birthright. This is what you came here to do. Not just to live a small, limited life defined by the 5 physical senses, but to explore the full spectrum of consciousness, to become a bridge between the seen and unseen worlds, to be in the truest sense fully alive. Welcome to your psychic awakening. You can find all episodes of The Reality Revolution at therealityrevolution.com. We have a new event in Newark, New Jersey on February 27th through March 1st. Get tickets now. The early bird pricing is still available. You can get them at www.brianscottlive.com February 2026. You got to join the Reality Revolution community. With live Q&A sessions every week and exclusive content, you can find us at skool.com, www.skool.com/Reality Revolution. And check out my art. We got thousands of pieces of art available, originals, sigils that are designed to create energies and activate experiences within your field. You can find it at www.newearth.art. All of the links for these are in the description. I'm sending all my light and love to you. And welcome to the Reality Revolution.